what's your sense of how Biden would be judged for withdrawing from Afghanistan?
If the final days of the withdrawal had been less chaotic and responsible and safe and all, I don't know if we would be having these types of conversations. But I will say that what happened over those last 2 weeks of the US presence were really indicative of US failure on the whole in Afghanistan, more broadly speaking. The inability to have a plan and strategy at play to anticipate what was to come. Now, my sense is that the administration did not plan for the possibility of the Taliban taking over before the US withdrawal had been completed. And I think that's one reason why there was so much chaos. One could also argue the US really struggled to have a plan or a strategy to govern its mission in Afghanistan for many years after the initial goals were achieved during the first few months of the presence there in Afghanistan. So in that sense, that's a mark against Biden. But honestly, I think that many Americans, unfortunately, have moved on, aren't really thinking about Afghanistan much anymore. And there's just a lot of other things going on in the world as well. Certainly people will think about it as we look at the 1 year anniversary, but I wouldn't overplay the idea of the damage or the political damage that Biden could suffer, or credibility impacts or anything like that. I do think that on many levels, people have simply moved on, which is, again, unfortunate. But I think that's the reality of how many in the US and beyond, elsewhere in the West in particular, think about Afghanistan these days, is unfortunately wanting to move on.